Okay, so today we have Morrissey and Scandinavia, and as it says here, the title of the album version. And this has the most views out of all the videos I saw. But I did see some people talk about how the live version is better. But again, I am a studio version basic bitch. But anyway, we're gonna get into this. Talk about it after 3.5 minutes long. I mean, Scandinavia, a region of Europe. Let's get into it. See what he's talking about here.
I was bored in a fjord, and I cursed the heart and soul of Scandinavia. Let the people burn, let their children cry and die in blind silence. But then you came along, and you held out your hand, and I fell in love with you and Scandinavia. I kissed the soil, I hug the soil, I eat the soil. And I praise the God who made you. Stab me in your own time in Scandinavia. On protesting I'll die in Scandinavia.
God. The drumming.
Pinned to a crime in Trondheim. I despise each syllable in Scandinavia. Let the people burn, let their children cry and die in blind silence. But then you came along, and you held out your hand, and I fell in love with you and Scandinavia. I kissed the soil, I hug the soil, I eat the soil. And I praise the God who made you. Stab me in your own time in Scandinavia. I'd be so happy to die in Scandinavia.
Jesus Christ. There it is, Morrissey, it's Scandinavia. Now, I gotta say at the top, you just heard him. You just heard him throughout the whole thing, and near the end there, too. He was the guy who finished everything off. I'd talk about Matt Walker, and I've talked, I'll say this, too. This isn't even about the song, but I think Spencer Coburn might be my favorite drummer that Morrissey ever had in his band, his backing band, whatever you want to say. But Matt Walker, I just love, I love Spencer. I love all of them. Dean Butterworth is great, too. Goddamn. Anyway, all of them. But with Matt Walker, I mean, he's always, not always, but he could play for the song as well. But he's always so thunderous. He's so bombastic. He's so bold. He's so hard hitting. And I mean, here he was just fucking he was playing. I mean, he was playing, but it was like it was playtime. Like he's a kid or something. I don't know if Morrissey said, "Hey, Matthew, whatever." Just go nuts on this track. And it's not like, he's doing a bunch of, I guess, complex rhythms or whatever the hell, or drum fills and all this stuff. But just just the way he hits those drums on this track anyway, especially near the end of it, just that added to the whole melodramatic feel here. It added to the bombastic feel you get, and Morrissey's voice too. I mean, from the drumming and the guitar work, and I almost want to say, like, and I'm looking at the personnel here for the World Peace Is None of Your Business album once more, because this is another bonus track from that album. But I don't see, like, I thought I heard a violin, some kind of strings. I mean, that's what came to my mind. It had such urgency, sounded very frantic. Again, it sounded like it's so dramatic. I mean, and this song is almost so over the top, but it works. And I just love how big everything sounds. But yeah, I thought there's a violin, but I don't see it in the personnel. Either way, something like that. And that added again to the whole feel of the track, and just the whole kind of unnerving feel of the track. It's an eerie, track, and lyrically perhaps a bit oblique. But yeah, Morrissey's voice, though, I want to say, I mean, he almost sounds. And maybe this just comes to mind because the lyrics are so, like, he changes his mind so quickly. The narrator does anyway, and it's like almost Morrissey. I'm like, he sounds a bit sarcastic, but he sounds strong. He sounds very guttural. I mean, I guess strong is the perfect word. Bold. I mean, I always like to say that, but yeah, he's obviously, you can hear him very well. He's prominent as hell, and yeah, his voice just cuts through so easily, and he sounds like he's locked in, as the kids say these days. But yeah, it just, there's a lot of conviction in his voice, I guess, is really what I'm trying to say, and yeah, I just really enjoyed that. But I always talk about the personnel. I mean, I talked about them last week. I did another bonus track last week, and now people said you got to do Scandinavia, and that's been requested a few times before last week as well. But anyway, so yeah, I've talked about these guys. I talked about them last week. Morrissey on lead vocals, Boz and Jesse on guitars, Solomon Walker on bass, and Matt Walker on drums, and of course Gustavo on keys and piano. I forget if there was keys and piano on this, because I was just so infatuated with the drumming. Like I said, you could see me smiling at points, because I always talk about how I love when Matt Walker just plays like this, and here's a song where he does it, and I was just in my element. But anyway, I gotta say though, when you search up the song, and again, I'm not gonna pretend like I know every goddamn thing in Scandinavia. All I know about Scandinavia is it's a region in Europe, and I searched it up as well, which kind of includes places like Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. And I mean, the most I know about geography is because of the hockey. I know because people have come from these places, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. I mean, one of my favorite players is from Denmark. But anyway, yeah, so that's all I know about those places. And I've seen people, again, you search the song up, and lyrically, I've seen people go at it, and I've seen people talk about how he's getting very political. I've seen people talk about race. I've seen people talk about, this is a metaphor for other, for all this stuff. But when I was just looking at it, I just saw it as just kind of, I don't know, like not like that at all, really. Like, I just thought it was very kind of not almost darkly humorous, just because of the way he shifts so quickly. And I just thought he for me anyway, I'll get down to it. He hated this place, whatever, Scandinavia, and I don't know why. I see people talk about the killings, and again, I'm not up to date on everything that happened in Scandinavia. I'm just a guy in Canada who I don't know, doesn't really pay attention to much of the news, especially here back in 2014 when this album was released, and this bonus track came out around then, I guess I would say. So yeah, I just think about all that stuff, and I just look at this stuff, and I just see this guy who, for some reason, hates Scandinavia, and then all of a sudden, let the people burn, let their children cry and die in blind silence. I mean, goddamn, he really hates this place. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along, I guess, if you want to say a woman, whatever, in this guy's case, and just changes everything with her love. And to me, it's just like, that was as simple as that. But again, I've seen so many people go back and forth, just looking at it on the internet and at forums and all this stuff, like I like to do, because there's not too much when you just search up, I guess, the meaning of the track. Again, these tracks are bonus tracks. There's not going to be a bunch of stuff or a bunch of annotations on genius.com or whatever about what he's saying. But yeah, I thought it was just very in your face, obviously very punchy, and again, very violent and bloody with these lyrics, and a bit graphic. I mean, goddamn, let the children cry and die. It's just like, Jesus Christ. But again, I've seen people go back and forth about what they think it's about. And anyway, so I'll get into these lyrics then. What the hell? We're here now. I was bored in a fjord, and I do want to mention, because a fjord, I guess, is how you do pronounce it. And I was thinking, is that like Bjork, where you're supposed to pronounce it like Bjork? But I think he did say fjord. Anyway, a fjord is a long, narrow arm of the sea, commonly extending far inland, that results from marine inundation of a glaciated valley. Again, many fjords are astonishingly deep. It talks about the deepest is in Norway, I do believe, and another deep one is in Chile. And Norway, when you talk about Norway, and that's, part of Scandinavia, so I guess that's where he's coming from right off the get-go there. So anyway, we move on, so that's what I learned there. Anyway, I was born in a fjord, my goodness, and there you go, I guess he was. That'd be quite the place to be born, holy moly, that'd be scenic anyway. And I curse the heart and soul of Scandinavia. Again, he just sounds like such a scoundrel, such a meanie, as they say. And again, he hates Scandinavia. Every syllable of it, as we find out. Let the people burn, let their children cry and die in blind asylums. And again, I don't know if he's making a political statement or not. Again, that comes to mind because of what I've seen people talk about. But just to me, he's going so far, so extreme, just because he hates this place with all of his heart, and he doesn't care what happens to the people or the children there. But then you came along. Here comes the frickin' 360 or the 180, whatever one makes sense. And you held out your hand, and I fell in love with you in Scandinavia. That was quick. That was easy. Just holding out the hand. I mean, not even, anything else. It's just the touch of the hand, and he's all for Scandinavia. I kiss the soil. I hug the soil. I eat the soil. And going from kissing to hugging to eating it, my God. And I praise the God who made you. And I guess the God who made this person, I guess, or maybe the God that also made Scandinavia all of a sudden. And I don't know, like when I kiss the soil, I hug it and I eat it. It's like when he says I eat the soil, because the way he sings it doesn't seem like it's humorous or that it's like sarcastic or something. But like that's almost what comes to my mind. Even though I did say earlier, it kind of did sound sarcastic, but like when he says he eats the soil, I don't feel like that's a known thing that people do. I don't know, and so I just feel like maybe he's taking the piss a bit there, a bit tongue-in-cheek. Again, this is Morrissey, he does that quite a bit. But anyway, stab me in your own time in Scandinavia. I'm protesting, I'll die in Scandinavia. So then there, stab me in your own time, Scandinavia. I guess maybe that is he might be getting a little bit, I guess, real or political there, talk about stabbing and maybe killings or whatever. But either way, stab me in your time in Scandinavia, whatever. Now I'm in love. Pinned to a crime in Trondheim. My goodness gracious. I despise each syllable of Scandinavia. Let the people burn, let their children cry and die in blind asylum. So when he went back to this part, I was like, hold on. Is he hating the country all over again? Or not the country, but the region, I guess, of Europe here again. And then we go on to the next part. But then you came along, again, I guess he's just emphasizing his point of how much he did hate this place. But now, again, then you came along and you held out your hand, and I fell in love with you in Scandinavia. I kiss the soil, I hug the soil, I eat the soil, and I praise that God who made you. Stab me in your own time in Scandinavia. I'd be so happy to die in Scandinavia. Or like I talked about earlier with the whole stabbing thing, is he just saying, that could just be one way to die? Maybe he picked it out of a hat. I don't know. And if it does happen, he doesn't care because now he's happy to die in Scandinavia all of a sudden. And because again, maybe he'll die next to his lover. I mean, my God, what a turn this took and what a shift. And again, it's a bit funny to me just because it did take such a quick turn. And it's just like, and that's when I listen to Morrissey. I mean, so many different songs where he has kind of dark humor, or it's a bit tongue-in-cheek or whatever, or it turns like this, and it's just like, well, wait a second, what the fuck? You just hated this place, and now you love it. Anyway, now you want to die there, I'd be happy to. But yeah. Anyway, I there you go. So I guess leave your comments down below. Again, I just saw so many different people go back and forth, and I saw some people say that there's not that, you're putting way too much meaning into it. So anyway, I just maybe I'm putting way too much meaning into it too. But either way, I thought it was just kind of straightforward a bit anyway. He hated this place, then someone came along that made him love it, and now he doesn't mind if he dies there. There's almost like and I saw somebody brought this up, and it almost like I kind of almost agree. It's like it has a bit of a there's a light that never goes out kind of tone to it, just in the way again it's so doomy and gloomy, but all of a sudden here's this beautiful person that comes along and he'd be happy to die next to them. Just a bit of that comes to mind too. So anyway, I guess that's all I gotta say. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. Thanks for coming back to another Morrissey Friday. And we got through this video. My goodness gracious, no problems. Somebody's making a house next door and they weren't hammering. God damn. So that's good. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys again soon.